They call us deplorables.
They shine bright everywhere we go. Music for the people, making music for the people. They shine bright everywhere we go.
They call us violators of the Constitution and the rule of law.
They shine bright everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. Music for the people, making music for the people.
Here is our answer on the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership.
Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having a good Monday. Now, we are not covering the news today. And, barring some magic miracle, I will not be celebrating Halloween because most of my family is moved off. They're gone. And so to that extent, Halloween, this year, and probably every year for the rest of my life, I am going to make that my Mental Health Awareness Day. And so that's what we're going to be covering today. I know it's awfully close to an election, but we also have to think about the sanctity of human life. That's one of the things that's most important to me. Now, I just got through doing a podcast on an episode on a podcast on this network called The Strenuous Life Radio. And so I'm going to be talking to you guys on the same topic of mental health awareness. I don't think I'm going to get as serious as that subject was. I was asked to cover that subject by a friend, but still, I think mental health is something that's a very important thing. Now, it was something that, growing up and coming of age, I was brought up that you're not supposed to talk about it. That if you got it, you can't talk about it. Because if you talk about it, you're weak. You're abnormal. And I'm going to tell you guys something. That's something nowadays. And I know. Sometimes it's hard to talk about these things. What mental illnesses we have. Some people are lucky to be born without a serious mental illness. Me, myself, I'm gonna level with you and be honest with you, okay? I suffer from bipolar disorder. And don't get me wrong, I had a lovely weekend. Except the fact that Saturday night I had a manic phase. And therefore was unable to attend church and partake of the sacrament. And I vowed to my mother yesterday that that's a mistake I intend to never make again. To stay on top of things. Because I'll tell you something. Life is crazy enough as it is. It really is. But, and then last night, my best friend, he said, I'm going to hold you accountable that you stay on top of your psych meds. So that's the thing. The craziness that we're all dealing with in this world. And during the heart of this storm that, people call COVID, the devil virus. And to be honest with you, the news media is still covering it. They won't let it go. Both sides of the aisle, okay? I understand it's a serious problem, but okay, shame on y'all. You're just doing it to try to spread more propaganda and get more people upset this close to the election. Stop it. Because right now, I'm not going to be talking about COVID. I'm not going to be talking about Jan 6. I'm not going to be talking about Biden. I'm talking about a serious issue here. Something we need to be on the lookout about. Because somebody could go through a day, going normally, just like it is. Everything's, they pretend everything's hunky-dory when inside they're dying inside. They're hurting, they're sad. Maybe they're lonely. Let me tell you something. I know, as a single guy, I know what it's like to be lonely. It is painful. It is painful to be around the house sometimes and not be able to have somebody there to talk to. My mother and I lived together for the longest time, for about 7.5 years. And one thing I loved is waking up in the morning and going to see her. She'd watch the news and, she'd have, usually she didn't talk that much until, she had, her third cup of coffee or something. I myself don't drink coffee. But, and not just because of my church's dietary restrictions, it was also a stern warning from a health-conscious house parent at the Texas School for the Blind. Okay, so that tells you something right there. Guys, listen to me. We need to talk about it. For years, people have called their psychiatrists and their therapist drinks. Let me tell you something. The one person that has changed that paradigm in my mind. I was reading a book by a pastor named Harold Ivan Smith. And he said, don't call them strength. Call them your stretch. Because they are. I've gone to counseling sessions. And the counselor has said, well, have you ever thought about this? And tell me what you're thinking. What's going on in your mind? And you can tell them and everything. And maybe they give you certain suggestions on how to do things. And really, sometimes like the one I have, the therapist I have, he makes me think. Well, what about this possibility? What about that possibility? So that's why I'm with you guys today, talking to you about mental illness, mental health, because it is something that's important. I started seeing the warning signs when I was about 12 that something wasn't right. I kind of always knew, ever since I was a little child, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But around the time I was 12, I kind of sensed that something was wrong. But, wanting to be a strong one, I just kind of sniffed it under the rug. And then my 13th birthday, depression hit me like a Mack truck. And the whole 13th year was the first time I'd ever thought about taking my life. And I had an uncle that's around the same age as I am. And he says, tell you what, I'm going to make sure you don't. Because, in my family, and the faith tradition I was brought up with within my family, it was the unpardonable sin. Now, I don't believe that anymore. Since I converted to the Latter-day Saint, I don't believe that anymore. And of course, this is about mental health, not, necessarily a theology thing, but my faith is incorporated in this, It's my faith that helps me understand and overcome factors in mental health. Okay? So here's what's up. the beauty of things, if you know what I mean. Now, listen to me. And listen to me good. If you see somebody, maybe they're going through a normal day and everything, and they pretend everything's hunky-dory, but you can tell inside that they're dying inside. Please take them aside and talk to them. Ask them what's really going on, because if you don't catch it, they could come home at night and hurt themselves beyond repair. Don't do that. Please do not do that. Those of you who are in my sound of my voice, don't take your life. Life is precious. I want you to go to, if you're listening to my show, I did another podcast just a few minutes ago about the issue of suicide. And I'm only going to cover it briefly because there is, the show is called The Strenuous Life Radio. And you can go on Google Podcasts, Breaker, iHeartRadio. It's available also on the James A. Hendricks School of Government YouTube channel. And which, they're fixing that. They're about to do YouTube handles, which, ask me. I think that's kind of a stupid move. But then again, my best friend's like, hey, calm down. He said the good news is maybe you get to design your own handle the way that you want it. Okay? Like this one. It's going to be called I'm thinking most likely of calling it HLS, HLS. Hendricks School of Leadership. Kind of mix it up a little bit. Who knows? But that's the beauty of it, guys, is, one thing, there are several factors, I think, that lead to serious mental health issues where people spin out of control. One of them, I think, is social media. Okay? Social media can do some wonderful things, don't get me wrong. But I also think it can drive somebody with mental health problems to do something destructive. Okay? I'm actually not a full-fledged fan of social media. But I think that people need to use them, for their businesses and stuff. But I think consumption of social media in the wrong way is what can ruin some people's mental health. And I call this, and throughout all my podcasts, what I call the distractive defiant culture. And the distractive defiant culture doesn't want to look at mental illness. Okay? You gotta be tough. No, we don't. I think it's important that we stay on top. If you have a mental illness, I want you to join me on my quest. I'm going to try to be a little bit more conscientious about it. Next 30 days, I want you guys to be a little bit more conscious about what's going on with your mental health. And that way, you can be on top of it, and there's no problem. Okay? Now, tomorrow I'm going to cover a public affairs topic. I haven't decided yet whether it's going to be advocacy or advertising or something like that. But we will come to something. And with that, I hope you enjoy listening to the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership classroom. This is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, take care and be proactively informed. God bless every single one of you. I will see you tomorrow. Take care and God bless you very much. Sorry about not being there like I should, but I'm going to be there. God bless each and every single one of you.